Hello, Editing Joey here. Guess what? I accidentally deleted the video file for this week's podcast. Sometimes it happens for someone like me who's produced maybe thousands of videos over God knows like a decade now. You would think they would be better at managing their files. But on the flip side, when you made thousands of videos, it's not so inconceivable that 1 in 1,000 times, you might do something stupid like that. And remember, I am a very, very klutzy person. However, I do have the original audio file. We still have that. And I was listening to it, and I was like, this is actually a pretty decent podcast. I did think about re-recording the whole thing and just talk about something completely different. But I think you should actually give this one a listen. And now you get to listen to it without having to stare at my face the entire time. So it's possibly a bonus. All right, sorry, this is not going to happen again for next week because I already recorded next week's podcast and I definitely do have the video file for that. Sorry, normal service will be resumed next week. But for now, enjoy this week's audio-only podcast. Hello, welcome to He's Hot, but something is off. I'm freezing, you guys. I actually did turn on the heat for a little bit earlier today for the first time. It's 54 degrees outside right now. It's 8:25 p.m. It's 54 degrees outside. Overnight, it gets down into the 40s. During the day, it was high. It was almost 70 degrees. Like 68, 69 degrees was the high during the day. I'm refusing to turn the heat on because I'm trying to save money. I don't want to spend a lot. Electricity is expensive. But I did turn on the heat briefly because I was filming something for the other thing. And I needed things to be warm for that other video. And so I did turn the heat on for like 15 minutes. And it got my bedroom to like 72 degrees, which was nice. But yeah, I'm freezing. My hands are freezing. It's actually most pronounced how cold I am when I take a shower. So usually I take a shower sometime in the evening. Last night I remember the way my legs felt when the warm, not hot, just warm, when the warm water ran down my body, down my legs, that's when I really feel, wow, my whole body is freezing cold, like freezing cold. I was washing my face this morning. I washed my face over the sink, putting the cleanser onto my fingertips and then rubbing it over my face. My hands felt like icy cold, like icy. Icy cold was literally the phrase that came to my mind. No other word than icy was appropriate for that. My hands are so cold. So I'm trying so hard to not turn the heat. Like when it's like high 60s outside, that's not really like cold weather, but I run really cold. The ideal indoor temperature in like an office, or if I'm not like exercising indoors, just sitting around the house, working in an office, something like that, 77 or 78 degrees. For other people, that's uncomfortably warm. For me, if I'm just like sitting around not doing that much, watching TV on the computer, whatever, 74, 75, I can still feel cold if I'm just sitting there. It has to be like in the high 70s before I feel like, oh, this is like a decent temperature. If the house gets up to like 80 degrees, as long as I'm just like sitting there, it doesn't feel warm to me. Whereas other people, that's like a crazy warm temperature. I run really cold. I'm built for warm temperatures for sure. Like when I go to, like I was just in Seoul in August and it was like pretty warm. You can throw me somewhere where it's like 90 something, 100 degrees. As long as it's not like 200% humidity, I'll be okay. I can't stand cold. I don't like snow. I don't want to be on the East Coast dealing with snow. Snow, if you have to commute in snow, it's no fun. If you have to take public transit in the winter, that's not fun. I don't know how people in Chicago, but Chicago gets like super cold in the winter, I heard. Chicago's actually a nice place otherwise. Except I can't deal with temperatures that cold. It's so not me. Hey, when was the last time you really took care of your skin? The skin is the largest organ in the whole human body and is doing so much for you. It protects you from germs and cooties. It keeps you warm when you're cold. It keeps you cool when you're hot. It's making vitamin D. It gives you the gift of touch and sensation. And that's just scratching the surface, so you better take care of it. I started my own skincare company, Serve Labs, to serve fun and functional skincare for everyone, so that you can serve fun while serving face. Go to servelabs.co, servelabs.co, or follow us at Serve Labs on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and discover how easy and fun it is to treat your skin right with Serve Labs. Anyways, quick update, now that I've rambled about how cold I am for 5 minutes. The new podcast, the Gay Cruise and Travel Podcast with Just Joey T, has just launched. That's exciting. Like I said in the last podcast, just splitting up all the cruise and travel related topics into its own podcast. And then this here, HHBSO, would just be my personal thing, and I don't need to worry about the cruise stuff over here. If you're watching the video version of this podcast, which going forward is just going to be on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify or any of the other podcasting apps, you're just getting the audio version. But if you happen to be watching, you notice I'm wearing this white ring on my middle left finger. I had an Aura ring, which is a health tracking ring, for I think over a year. I had it up until 2023, and I was at New York Pride, Planet Pride, that party specifically, and I was dancing with my friend, which I guess I shouldn't name, but he was very handsy. Not like he was hitting on me, but like just the way he was dancing, he was like grabbing my arms and my hands with his hands, and it was like warm and humid and slippery and stuff. And the Aura ring fell off, and I didn't notice until I had gone into the Uber after the party. Two things I noticed that weekend. I forgot if I lost both of these things on the same night or on different nights. I might have lost them different nights. I had taken the subway to the party because I went Friday and Saturday. But on one of the nights, I lost my Beats earbuds, which were like the regular earbuds that I had at the time. Because, you know, like I'm taking the subway for like 40, 50 minutes, like might as well have some earbuds, right? And I tucked them into this little ankle bag that I put around my ankles. I took a car back instead of the train back. For whatever reason, I took an Uber home instead. And then when I was in Uber, I was checking my bag, and then I noticed that the zipper was open and the headphones had fallen out. So I was like really bummed about that. And I don't know if it's the same night or a different night that I recognized that the Aura ring was gone. The other thing about that ring that I used to have was that, like, this sounds really stupid, and I'm just not that smart of a person sometimes. You know, sometimes a friend does something and then they tell the story of them doing a stupid thing, and you hear it and you're thinking, how can anybody be that dumb to do that? But I feel like everyone has been on both sides of that table. Everyone, I think, has done something where at the moment it didn't seem like a stupid thing, and like for whatever reason you did it. But then later on, when you tell that story to someone that you did that stupid thing, in retrospect, after some time had passed, it did seem like, wow, that was like a stupid, completely nonsensical thing to do. I think everyone's had moments like that. Anyways, the old Aura ring, I had it sized and wore it on my left ring finger. Even though I was single and not seeing anyone and not engaged and not married, completely single, not even like a whiff of a date in sight the whole time I wore that ring. Well, what did I go? I actually might have gone on some dates with some people, but anyways, nowhere near engaged, okay? Not even like a boyfriend. It was just the finger that was most out of the way and where the ring actually could fit properly. Like, I couldn't wear it on my pinky. Even if I got a small one, just because of the shape of the pinky, it would just fall out. I didn't want to wear it on my middle finger or my index finger because it would be more in the way when I'm like grabbing or holding stuff or whatever. That entire time I had that Aura ring before I lost it, I wore it on my left ring finger. And depending on what social function or what people I was hanging out with, people saw it and thought I was engaged or married or whatever. Especially when I was doing, I remember when I would film YouTube videos, I would have to remember to take the ring off so that when people watch the YouTube video, they didn't think that I was engaged. Yeah, I still can't tell you. I think the only reason I was being so practical about what ring to decide to wear that Aura ring on. And I think I got the ring maybe like one size too big. They don't have half sizes with the Aura rings, but it was a little bit looser than I would like. And that's why it slipped out when I was dancing. It was humid, we were sweating, that kind of stuff. I'm getting another one, and this white ring isn't it. So the way you get the Aura ring is they have what's called a sizing kit, which is just a bunch of the different sizes of the rings in plastic. And you just try the different sizes on. Once you've decided what size you are, then you can know which size ring to buy. So I used to be size 8 for the old Aura ring, which is a different generation. I had on my ring finger. Now it's a new generation that just got released, and apparently the sizes are like slightly different. So I had to have a whole new sizing kit, which I got yesterday. I'm going to do it on my middle and index finger, which turns out to be like the same size. So that means I can wear the ring between the two fingers and it'd be no different. And I'm a size 9. And this time I'm going for something that isn't as loose so that there's not as much of a possibility of like spinning around or falling out. So there you go. But this is like the sizer. This is one of the plastic sizer rings from the sizing kit. I don't need the ring. It's completely not an essential thing. But it's just me treating myself a little bit as a end of the year / new year / birthday, very early birthday / celebrating the launch of my skincare brand / little treat for myself. And that had a discount code for $50 off. And then there was like this other credit card offer that gave me another $50 off. So it's technically like $100 off. I wore it on my index finger, and I was walking home from the gym earlier today, and I had like a itch on my nose, and it was just instinct to just scratch my nose with like the back of my hand. And I didn't remember that there was a ring on there. So I basically hit my nose with the ring and like kind of scratched my nose. I'm also very klutzy. So there are things you don't see on camera. The magic of editing edits out all the klutz and clumsiness. Whenever you're recording something on camera or on a microphone or whatever, we've all seen outtakes from various TV shows or movies or whatever. It's the same with me. I'm recording so much content with the podcast, especially if I, have like a slip of tongue or mispronounce a word or whatever. Those are usually edited out. Okay, can I tell you something for real? Skincare is not really a sexy topic. No one's waking up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, I have to take care of my skin. I know I talk a lot on the podcast. I have a lot of opinions and I have a lot of advice to give. But if you don't listen to me about anything, listen to me about this. You have to take care of yourself, and you also have to take care of your skin. I believe in it so much, and I think it's such a critical thing that I started my own skincare company, Serve Labs, to serve fun and functional skincare for everyone. And you know what? Not to toot my own horn, but people are always telling me, your skin looks so good, and I can't believe how old you are. Do you know why? Because I've been taking care of my skin for many, many years. But I know, for a lot of you, skincare just sounds like another chore. But I want to make it fun. And that's where Serve Labs comes in. Go to servelabs.co, servelabs.co, or follow us at Serve Labs on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and discover how easy and fun it is to treat your skin right with Serve Labs. There's a school of thought with gays wearing a ring on their left ring finger to signal falsely to other people that you're taken. Is based on the premise that gays want what they can't have. It's like, if you make it look like you're taken, you might be on some level more desirable to some of the guys. I don't think I really got to test that out when I was wearing the ring on my ring finger, even though I was not engaged or married and I was single. Some people noticed it, but I didn't feel like people tried to hit on me more when I did have that ring there. Like, if I saw some attractive, cute guy, whatever, and they had the ring, I don't think I would be more attracted to them. I did go to a physical therapist. Oh, this was like 2 or 3 months ago. It's a while ago. And he was cute. He was really cute, actually. Around my age, I think, but like very cute, very nice eyes. We were just like in the PT with just me and him. It wasn't like a big giant training facility. It was like at a medical office, and it was just like me and him in the room. We were talking about, and eventually I did notice he had a ring on his left finger. Now, before I saw that, I thought like, oh, he's cute. Is he gay? But the gaydar doesn't always take off. I didn't know with this guy. And then later when I saw the ring, I was like, I bet he's straight and has a wife. But at no point did the ring made me more attracted to him or made me want him anymore. I don't know if that theory, maybe the theory is valid for some people. Maybe some people do either consciously or subconsciously think like, oh, that hot guy there or that cute guy, oh, he has a ring. Like, oh, because I can't have him, he's taken. It makes him more attractive to me, or I want him more because of that, because I can't have it. Like, forbidden fruit or whatever. Yeah, so I'm not going to make that mistake again. I don't want to give the false impression that I'm engaged or married when that is not the case. Oh, somehow I rambled on for 20 minutes now. Did I even talk about anything today? Honestly, I really want to keep these to 20 minutes because I already ramble enough I'm talking about nothing. Literally about nothing. And I'm going to try to cap these at about 20-ish minutes. So go look for the new Gay Cruise and Travel podcast with Just Joey T. It's definitely going to be up on YouTube. It's definitely up on Spotify. Tonight, Sunday night, as I'm recording this a few days early. I'm going to try to get it to all the other podcasting apps, but it will definitely be on Spotify and YouTube for sure. It's already up on those two places. Just in case you didn't see last week's episode of this podcast, my Patreon is up. I'm really warming up to Patreon. There's always a little bit of worry when I'm starting a new platform and like a new thing where I need to create new content for. There's always like a little bit niggle like, okay, I really want to make sure we can actually produce content consistently for that new audience and that new platform. But it's been easier than I expected in terms of creating content for that. Initially, I was only going to do travel vlogs, but I found myself just doing random vlogs from just daily life. So I did one with David when he was here, and I just did one. I called my mom about a few things. It's like a few days ago, and a few minutes in the conversation, I was like, you know what? This would make good vlog content. So I filmed it. I was speaking with her in Cantonese. She only speaks Cantonese. She doesn't speak English. And there were kind of funny moments in there. So that whole phone conversation is actually up for my Patreon members from the $6 and up tier. And yeah, there's been something new going up every single day. So if it's only been launched for like a week, there's been more or less a new video every single day. Go join the fun there. I'm really, really excited about it now that I'm like, the content is just coming naturally to me. And I feel like the content on the Patreon is really like less filtered, more like organic, and really gives the subscribers a peek into my everyday life. So yeah, there you go. And there's also going to be the extra podcast episode there every week, only on Patreon, the uncut version of this HHBSO podcast. And yeah, I'm going to record that pretty soon this week based on a subscriber suggestion. It'll be one of my, I got to think about which one to pick, but it's going to be one of my like gay hookup sex stories from some point in my life that I find interesting, because I did a post yesterday and I just asked subscribers, hey, for the upcoming uncut episode that's going to be coming later this week, what kind of topics do you want me to talk about? Because I want the uncut versions to not just be topics I pick, and I want it to be more topics that the subscribers want to hear, because uncut is a Patreon exclusive. I want those Patreon subscribers to kind of let me know what they want to hear. And someone said like, oh, any sort of like hookup or sex story that I have from my past, maybe one from the cruise or from wherever else. So yeah, that's the uncut episode that I'm going to have to think about which story I want to dig up from the depths of my memory. All right, until next time. Bye, y'all.